So I want you to do a full test, and I've been waiting for it. Normal semester, if I'm just doing this test is without anticipating anything, I probably would have done it next week, because this conceptual question that I'm referring to, which has been archived in the sense that I put it up on a public web page with the kind of the stuff that used to be in the actual assignment, because I don't intend to use this as assignment ever again. All the answers are here, so this is just a kind of place for me to put them up so that it's not completely gone from the world forever. I mean, I'm never gonna use it in my class because I think they kind of served out their usefulness and they're not gonna be useful anymore. But one thing that what I have here is these questions reflect the kind of situation where free body diagram is useful. I want people to know how to draw free body diagrams. So there are 11 questions total here. So, like a year and a half ago, you would have seen this as part of your week 5 assignment, I think, or week 4, one of those weeks. So let me do it this way. I'm going to start with the question 1, and let me bring up Google Nano Banana. I think I go to Gemini. I have a Gemini Pro account here. I use them more for my Physics 10 with the Notebook LM, generating some of the assets that I think are helpful. So let me, went up too far. Free body diagrams, and this is the kind of the instructions that used to be there, and it's really just those 11 situations. So I will pose it this way for Gemini 3. I'm gonna make sure I'm in the Nano Banana thing. Agree. Wait, not that. I guess I am uploading things, but under tools, I want to make sure I select create images. So I'll say, hi, I need to draw some free body diagrams for physical situations. Please help me with these. I have 11 situations. Attached is the setup for the first situation. Too many situations, but it's fine. And the assignment instruction says to just to draw the free body diagram without annotating it for the breaking down forces into components, etc. Just the force vectors and the labels identifying the forces. And did I say let's show 2 diagrams after completion of that's for the peer review. Illustrate with a diagram. Draw and submit free body diagrams. Choose 3 or more situations. You know what? I don't say explicitly not to break it into components. Illustrate. Draw free situation below. So let me actually take this out, because yeah, I think that's fine as it is. Yeah, it's a matter of what's the this is minimum requirement, but this wouldn't be wrong either. So let's just see what Gemini gives me. Gonna paste in the image that I put into the clipboard there, and I want to make sure I make the full use of my paid for account. I think thinking. Oh wait, I thought there was like a pro mode, wasn't there? Why? I don't. I guess I think I selected everything. Let me put this in, and we will see where it goes. And this thinking part, if it's taking a while, I might have to edit this out from the YouTube version of this video. If it's saying some funny stuff, maybe I'll keep it. So we'll see. Yeah, based on the image. Yeah, bird is a point, weight, tension. Yeah, those descriptions, ChatGPT also does that well. And now, is it? Oh, free body diagram. Sorry, I don't see a free body diagram. I can question mark. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm still. Why is it not drawing me a free body diagram? Here is the, yeah. Okay, generating the diagram. Yeah. Yep, that's correct ish. I mean, this is the tension. I guess the long wire is supposed to represent the string, and then the arrow on top of this force. It's a little bit colored, but this is perfectly serviceable diagram. Good. Let's keep going. ChatGPT used to really struggle with the inclined planes. We'll see how well Gemini does. Thank you. Here's the second setup. And I think when I've tested the Gemini with the inclined planes, it's done well. So I don't have any reason to think it somehow won't do well. We'll see. Interesting. The style is changing. So let's see. Now it's doing it in a way that I don't quite like. Well, I guess actually it's fine. You know what? It's not the same thing as what the textbook does. Our textbook does this thing where it, after breaking forces into components, it tries to erase the force. I hate that. But this isn't the way you will see me do. You will see me do it this way. Like when I break forces into components, I try to complete a right triangle. But this is perfectly fine. The only downside is that this can get confusing. Like you might think these components are in addition to this force, and distinguishing that somehow can be a challenge. But the way it is correctly broken down, yeah, that's the sine 30, cosine 30, the applied force, normal force, yeah, and instead of frictionless. Yeah, that looks great. Show thinking. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's all that. All right, let's go to number 3. Thank you. Here's number 3. And let's see how well it answers. Oh, wait, did it revert to not giving me a free body diagram? That's annoying. I'll just say, okay, sorry, I don't see a free body diagram. I don't know why it keeps reverting to not actually giving me a diagram. But this kind of error, I think it's kind of easy to fix. I just ask her one more time. So I think it's fine. Yeah, I'm not... Sorry. I think when I'm in in my thinking mindset, in a mode of using AI, my brain turns off. I'm not really reading this, but I can look at this. Oh, but I think it's, well, let's see. Through the free body for acting on the block, resting on the frictionless ramp. So this isn't quite right. How do the descriptions look? So frictionless, spring force pulls the block up. Normal force. Yeah, these are mostly right, but sorry, I don't think the diagram quite makes sense. Would you give me the diagram again, clearly labeling all the forces? You don't I was told that I don't necessarily have to break forces into components. That is interesting. It might still be It might still be struggling with a more complex setup. Maybe this spring diagram is confusing it. If it, still struggles after I guess third prompt, we'll move on. This is one of the situations that okay, this is better. Like this line is a little bit distracting, but you got the weight, correct direction, normal force, correct direction, and spring force now correct-ish direction. So B plus. Yeah. Let's move on to the next one. Okay. Thank you. Here's the fourth setup. This is quite similar to question 2, except the applied force is in a different direction. And I think still frictionless. I don't know if any of these have friction. I said the fourth setup instead of number 4 because when I said the number 4, it appeared to get confused. I don't know with the prompting exactly what confuses AI and what doesn't. Yeah. None of this might matter. It's one of those things where, okay, that's the drawing. Oh, it looks so busy. Yeah, I think that's just wrong. Sorry, this doesn't quite look right. Can you try it again? And then I'll move on. I don't want to give it too much help because I'm basically trying to see, for someone who, let's say, doesn't really know any physics, how effectively can they use generative AI to generate free body diagrams? And I think when a diagram just is gibberish, this is kind of reasonable thing someone might ask. And yeah, it's still not. So I guess this makes sense if you interpret it as this situation flipped around. Then everything's fine, it's inclined up that way. So it's a horizontal mirror version of this. I will accept it. But again, I guess I'll just say B plus. Because A would have been getting the direction of the incline and everything correct, so it doesn't look flipped. Let's move on. I got limited amount of time. So here's question 5. I think that's good enough. Thank you. Here's the 5th situation. Switching from setup to situation to see if that'll, I don't know, give me better answers. It might not matter at all. Anyway. This is what ChatGPT normally does. I don't know why. Sorry, I need diagrams. I find ASCII art challenging. Would you give me a set of free body diagrams for this situation? I guess I never really tested Gemini with situations at this class's level with a series of requests. I've done a spot check, and those went well. That's why I was excited for this test. But we'll see. It's possible if I prompted it better at the very beginning, then it might have done better. Okay. Let's see, M1. Yeah, upward tension, downward, and assume M2 is larger, so accelerating upward. That looks great. This looks great. Yeah. I mean, this amount of tension should have been same as this amount of tension. So someone drawing this carefully would have tried to make these two arrows about the same length. but they are still using the same label. So like if I saw this in a student answer, I wouldn't deduct the points off for these arrows being different size. Like this is how you should draw it. but I'm a little bit pickier than most people. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. I think this is good. Thank you. Here's the Q6. Maybe it'll do better with that different phrasing. I don't know. I think if I'm redoing this test next semester, I'll probably start out with a kind of initial instruction. Hi, I have 11 situations that I need free body diagram for. This is the kind of free body diagram I want. I'll give you one situation at a time. Would you let me know when you're ready? I think that's probably what I should have done. So I'll do that next semester. For this test, we are already halfway through, and yeah, it's probably gonna be like the whole thing's gonna be like 30 minutes long. So. Okay, it's a side view. Yeah, that's the view I would choose. And so one could quibble. Like if I pick this side view in this snapshot, then this again is kind of horizontally mirror flipped. But you could imagine either you are looking at this from over there, a far side of the table, or you are looking at it from after this has moved to the left side, so the tension is pulling to the right. You could definitely say this is internally consistent. Tension is going in the direction of the centripetal acceleration, and yeah, this is great. Yeah, that's great. So that's an A answer. Like the mirror flipped version. Here's one situation where that can make natural sense because you are picking a snapshot, a moment in time. And also, because it being a whole in three-dimensional space, the observer can be in different places. Okay, good. My instructor says A level answer. A little bit of encouragement. I have Q7 here. I forget my profile with the Gemini. I don't know if Gemini has any information about what I use this account for. ChatGPT has a little bit of custom instructions that tells it I'm a community college instructor, often using it for like testing out stuff. I don't know what Gemini thinks, what my user profile with the Gemini is. Not sure. Refining the force diagram, yeah. Okay. Friction, yeah, that's good. And it wasn't confused. I don't know what this smudgy thing is. It wasn't confused by this parallel component of weight. It threw the full weight vector, that's good. I guess, yeah, showing all forces, not just. It probably understood that. Yeah, this looks great. That's, again, A-level answer, correct angle identified and all that. Yeah. Yeah, in fact, the only thing I might quibble with is all these auxiliary figures. You should kind of distinguish them somehow, make sure it's like dotted line or something. I guess the thickness of the line is a little different, but when you're drawing it as a human being, that's a little bit hard thing to do. So, okay, yeah, passes point A, yeah, okay, good, thank you. Here's Q8. Yeah, I think it'll do well. I don't think that's all that challenging, because it's basically a one-dimensional drawing. I mean, it's challenging for students, especially before you got used to the uniform circular motion and centripetal acceleration. But I don't think that's the point at which it keeps doing that. Sorry, I can't quite understand ASCII art just in general. Can you give me an actual line diagram? Maybe, I don't know, there might be some bias built in where it's trying to save compute. Maybe ASCII is cheaper to generate than a line diagram, like SVG. What does it stand for? Scalable vector graphics kind style format. So maybe, but it's making this test go longer than it has to be. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, normal force downward. Weight is also downward. They are both downward. They end up to give you this centripetal acceleration. Yeah, and it kind of the normal force depends on the car's speed. Yeah, yeah, that looks great. Yeah, yeah, okay. And so question 9, it's similar to something that's been done before, but now there's a friction. And I'll, since it has the question text, it should kind of figure it out. Good. Please give me free body diagram for this Q9. Maybe that's why it wasn't giving me a diagram. I was just saying this is the question number, and you might not have been guessing enough from the context that what I want is free body diagram, not a long explanation. Is that no? It's yeah, it's confused. Force apply the force direction is wrong. Friction direction is wrong. Wait, what? I reached the limit. I have a paid for account. How am I reaching the limit so quickly? Oh, that is annoying. Oh, what do I wanna do? Reset on February 7th. Um, well, you know what? Let me just try it one more time without the Nano Banana Pro. What? It's such a tiny limit. I don't remember hitting a prompt limit like this in like about a year, because ChatGPT's limit has gotten pretty high. Again, with the paid for account. Uh, so I'll say, sorry, this diagram doesn't make sense. Would you try again? Let's see what that looks like. And if it still looks wonky, let me see. And then let me try questions 10 and 11. If they look okay, then then I think it's fine enough. If questions 10 and 11 also look wonky, then I will come back another time when I have, access to Nano Banana Pro. So this, yeah, this is again still, it's all messed up. It's not good. Okay. So let me try 10 and 11. So these two drawings might have been better with the Nano Banana Pro, because I think both of these are generated with the previous version, which again isn't what I was impressed with. So this, let's just put an asterisk on it. Let's ask this one. Okay, let's move on. Please give me free body diagrams for Q10. If this looks bad, I guess I won't bother asking it twice. And then I'll move on to Q11. And then again, if it looks bad, then I would assume it looks better because it's the not the Nano Banana Pro. It's just Nano Banana, the previous version. Oh, that might. No, that's still bad. It didn't get the apply the force being at an angle. So I think what I have to do, so I'll ask a question 11. And I guess I'll edit this video in some fashion, but let me do an addendum that retries these last three questions, questions 9, 10, and 11 using Nano Banana Pro. Because I think these last three, we're not testing it with the latest model. So, okay, let's try the last question. Q11, please give me the free body diagrams. Yeah, so I guess, yeah, this is, I think, why I was so impressed with the Nano Banana Pro. The capability between this previous version and what it's able to do with the latest version, it is quite significant. Like this is, what I was saying before. The one thing I know AI doesn't do well is drawing free body diagrams. Technically accurate diagrams. Yeah, this also it's messing up. Yeah, so we'll come back. So this will be one version of the video, and I'll update this next week when we'll come back to this to re-ask questions 9, 10, and 11, and I'll somehow stitch them together for one kind of coherent presentation. But yeah, so up through question 8 with a little bit like prompting, just asking it second time if it didn't make sense. It did really well, most of the setups. But 9, 10, and 11, we'll come back to it later. So that's our test. Yeah, I mean, AI is really getting better. I'm actually excited to see what they will look like in 5 years. Because in science fiction there are these like I'm thinking of Star Trek, Stargate actually with the ancients and whatnot. There's this trope of like a computer tutor, computer teacher. I mean, I love my job. I don't want to lose my job to AI, but I think if people have access to artificial intelligence teacher / tutor that can that's just as capable as a human being, that I think that can only be a good thing. Other than potential future teachers losing their job, that's a potential downside. But people will figure out something else they can do with their talents. It's like when the light bulbs came, like so you don't break the light bulbs just to prop up the candle making industry. So it's anyways. So we'll come back to those last 3 questions so that we can have a proper test of Nano Banana Pro.